She came from a wealthy family, was educated in Europe, and while she was being educated in Europe, her family, except for her older brother who was in college here in America, went to go visit her. And once they get over to Europe, that they hear that her brother has died in a car accident. So her family needs to get back to America for the funeral, and the first boat they could get on was the Titanic. Her father goes down with the ship. She, her sister, her younger brother, and her mother all survive. But it is deeply tragic. And because her older brother, her father passed away, Millie sort of is able to get an allowance, which honestly helps renovate some parts of Hyde Hall after she marries the last George. She expands the electricity. She puts in more modern plumbing, including a bathroom, which we're going to walk through. It would have been very modern for the 1920s. It's very much out of date now. But she put in several of those during her time here, which was not very long. So I think part of the reason George married her was because she was getting $10,000 annually, and not necessarily because they got along really well. She was deeply unhappy, and she and George end up getting divorced in 1932. Both of them marry new people later in the same year. She marries a man named Stephen Beach Cook, with an E on the end. He is an actor, and because she is co-parenting her 7 children with her first husband, they spend a good deal of their time living in Cooperstown. And one of her children, actually her second to last, is a daughter named Anne. Surprise! Her name is Anne Logan. And Anne Logan is the author of the Ladies' book, which is where we get a majority of our information for this tour. And she fondly remembers the house. She really only spent her summers here, because even though her mother puts in all this modern plumbing, the plumbing is not being run in the house. It's being run in the courtyard on the outside of the house, because this is literally limestone on brick on plaster. There's no space to be putting a lot of modern amenities in. And it really is after Millie leaves that the house starts to fall into disrepair, because the next wife of George the Last is Dorothy Benjamin. Dorothy Benjamin did not enjoy being in this house. Her first night was actually spent in this room behind us, here in the house. With her husband in the same bed, she still wore a mink coat because she was so cold. She, ironically, ends up being the last person living here, but she's not living here. She's living in the stone cottage, which is significantly smaller. She only has a housekeeper at that point. And again, she's only living in it during the summer. So the rest of the house really falls into very bad disrepair.